Welcome to good morning to all of you. Today here I am Professor S.R. Sakne, Assistant Professor of Agronomy at Sadguru College of Agriculture, Mirzgaon. Today we will going to discuss the topic that is lecture number 8, precipitation, then its processes, then various types of the precipitation such as rain, snow, sleet and hail. So in detail we will discuss about the lecture number 8, that is the precipitation and their processes and the various types of the precipitation. Firstly, what is the precipitation? So this precipitation is defined as all types of moisture reaching the surface of earth from the atmosphere, that is called as a precipitation. And this precipitation is the basic input to the hydrology. That means it is considered as an important basic input in the process of the hydrological cycle, and without the precipitation the hydrological cycle is not completed. So there are some of the factors that determine the precipitation or the amount of the atmospheric moisture over any region. So this factor which includes the climate of that region and the geographical location of that area. So these are the two important factors that determines the precipitation or the amount of the atmospheric moisture over any region. Then ocean surface is the chief source of the moisture for the precipitation. That means some ocean or the presence of the ocean, that is considered as an important source of the moisture which is required for the process of precipitation, and that is available through this ocean. So it is considered as a cheap source of the moisture for the precipitation. Then there are various forms of the precipitation as shown in the picture. There are the various forms. It includes the dew, then mist, fog, rain, hail and the snow. That means they are the various forms of the precipitation, or this precipitation which is received in mainly three forms. As first one it received in the form of the liquid, then it is also received in the form of the solid, and again third type that it received in the form of the mixture of the solid or the liquid precipitation, that is known as the mixed precipitation. And these three types of the precipitation which are divided into these various subforms. Then in that first form of the precipitation, that is the rain. So this rain is the most common type of the precipitation in our atmosphere. Then rain is when liquid droplet that fall to the surface of the earth, that is known as a rain. That means whatever the water that is received in the form of the liquid droplets to the surface of the earth, that is called as a rain. Then there are two different forms of the rain, as the rain which is received in the form of the showers or the drizzles. Then first form of the rain, that is the shower. These are the heavy or the large drops of the rain, and usually only a last period of the time. Then the second form of the rain, that is the drizzle. So this drizzle however usually lasts longer and are made up of small droplets of the water, that is called as a drizzle. Then rain can either be formed as ice crystals, melt, or it can be smaller water droplets. Then there are when the rain is received, this rain which is categorized into the three types as the light rain, moderate rain and the heavy rain. So when the rainfall which is received up to the 2.5 millimeter per hour, that is called as a light rain, and when the rainfall which is received in the range of 2.8 to 7.6 millimeter per hour, that is called as a moderate rain. Whereas when the rainfall which is received as 7.6 millimeter per hour, that is called as a heavy rain. So this is the three types of the rains are there, as light rain, moderate rain and the heavy rain, and they are categorized according to the amount of the rainfall which is received in a hour. So this is the first form of the precipitation. After that, next one, that is the snow. Snow is the second most common precipitation in the northeast. So this snow type of the rainfall that is most commonly received in the northeast India. Then snow forms when the water vapor turns directly into the ice without ever passing through the liquid state. So how the snow are formed? So this snow that is formed when the water vapor present in the atmosphere, without they are converted into the liquid state, they are directly converted into the solid state, that means in a ice, that is called as a snow. So this happens as the water condenses around an ice crystal, and when the formation of the snow is happen as when the condensation around a ice crystal is takes place, at that time the snow formation which is takes place. Then the density of freshly fallen snow that varies between 125 to 500 millimeter of the snow that is required to equal 25 millimeter of the liquid water. Then again the important point regarding this solid precipitation as the average density of this snowfall, that is 0.1. So it is also average density is also called as a specific density. Then the next form of the precipitation, that is a hail. Then this hail is created when the moisture and the wind are together. So at that time the formation of the hail which is takes place when it forms as when there is the moisture as well as the wind, they are present at a time, and at that time the formation of the hail which is takes place. Then inside the cumulonimbus clouds the ice crystal form and begin to fall towards the surface of the earth. Then when this starts to happen, the wind gusts start to pick up the ice crystal, that pushing them up high into the clouds, and as they start to fall down again, they continue to grow in size. So firstly what happen? It happens at the start, the wind gust that start the pickup of the ice crystals and they are pushed up into the high cloud, and after that when they start to fall down again, the union of these ice crystals which is takes place, that means the collision of this ice crystal which is takes place, and further it grow in size, that means their size is increases. Then a wind gust might catch the hailstone again, which will push it back up into the cloud. Then after that what happens at as the wind gust that might again catch the hailstone, that means the large size of the ice crystals, they are catch up by the wind gust and they again push up into the cloud, and this process gets repeated again and again, that means it is repeated several times before the hailstone becomes so big and that is too heavy for the wind to carry, so it fall towards the earth surface. When the ice crystals or the snow, they are grow in a large size, and after that they are very difficult to suspend in the atmosphere, and that is why they are fall towards the earth as a hail formation. So this is the process of the formation of the hail or the hail type of the precipitation. Then there are various shapes of the hail particles, as they occur in a spherical shape, then conical shape, or in a irregular shape. Then the diameter of the hail that ranges between 5 to 125 millimeter. Then the specific gravity of this hail precipitation, that is 0.8, and the average density, that means the specific gravity of the hail, that is a 0.1. So this is also considered as an important form of the precipitation, and we have discussed in detail the process of the formation of the hail into the atmosphere. Then after that the next form of the precipitation, that is a fog. So in case of the fog, there is really no difference between the fog and the clouds that are high in the sky. That means we cannot differentiate between the fog and as well as the amount of the clouds they are present into the high in the sky, that means at a high at a high altitude. Then in simple term, fog is a cloud that has formed near the surface of the earth, that is known as a fog. That means the fog that also looks like the cloud, that means we cannot differentiate between the fog and the cloud which is present into the atmosphere. And when the cloud that are formed near the surface of the earth, that is known as a fog. Then there are various types of the fog are there. First one is the radiation fog, then second one is the advection fog, third one is the upslope fog, and fourth one is the evaporation fog. So these are the four main types of the fog. And see in the picture, here the fog which is seen, and in that condition we cannot see the clear object on the surface of the earth. So that is also one of the form of the precipitation. Then next form of the precipitation, that is the dew. So the dew is the small drops of the water which can be found on the cool surfaces like a grass in the morning, and these are known as a dew. So these dew are the small drops, and they are appear on the small grasses or the vegetation in the morning, and that is we call as a dew. Then this is result of the atmospheric vapor that is condensing on the surface in the colder night air. Then the dew point is the temperature in which the condensation start to takes place or the dew is created. And when the dew point temperature or the temperature which is less than the 0 degree Celsius, and at that time the process of the condensation start and the dew formation which is also takes place. Then the next form of the precipitation as the mist or the drizzle. So that is also considered as a liquid form of the precipitation. So mist is a bunch of the small droplets of water which are in the air, that is called as a mist. And this mist occurs with the cold air when it is above a warm surface, that is called as a mist. When the mist is occur as they are occur when the cold air which is present above the warm air or the hot air, and that is called as the mist. Then the example of that is the water. Then fog and mist are very similar, only the difference is their visibility. That means there is no any difference between the fog and the mist, only the difference is that there is the visibility. For example, if you cannot see the 1 kilometer or less, you know you are dealing with the fog. That means if we cannot see the object 1 kilometer or less than that distance, and at that condition that is categorized as a fog. And you can see the visual through the mist, and it is more haze looking than the thicker substance, and that is we called as a mist. So this is about the mist or the drizzle type of the precipitation, and that is categorized under the liquid precipitation. Then the diameter range, that is ranges between the 0.1 and 0.5 millimeter per hour, and that is called as the mist or the drizzle. Then next one is the glaze. So the glaze is the ice coating that generally clear and the smooth, and they are formed on the exposed surfaces by the freezing of the super cooled water. They are deposited by the rain or the drizzle, so that is known as the glaze. Then the specific gravity of that glaze, that is may be as high as 0.8 to 0.9. So the picture of the glaze which is shown here, and this glaze they are occur due to the freezing of the surface cool water. They are deposited due to the rain or the drizzle. Then next one, that is the rime. So the rime is the white opaque deposit of the ice granules. More or less they are separated by trap air or formed by the rapid freezing of the supercooled water drops. They are impinging on the exposed object, that is known as the rime. Then the specific gravity of this rime, that is ranges between 0.2 to 0.3. Then next form of the precipitation, that is the sleet. So this sleet, it consists of the transparent, then globular or the solid grains of the ice. They are formed by the freezing of the raindrop or the freezing of a largely melted ice crystals. They are falling through a layer of the sub-freezing air near the surface of the earth, that is known as the sleet. So in this picture, the sleet is seen as they are formed due to the freezing of the raindrop or the freezing of the melted ice crystals. They are formed, and that is shown in the figure, that is deposited on the object which are present on the earth surface, as well as they are deposited on the branches of the tree. Then next point, that is the formation of the precipitation. Then how the precipitation which is formed, which we have to see here. As first one, there is the convective system, that is resulting from unequal radiative heating and the convergence that is caused by the orographic barrier, and there is the formation of the precipitation which is takes place. In that, the moisture is always present in the atmosphere even on the cloudless day. If there are no clouds which are present into the atmosphere, at that condition also the amount of the moisture which is present in the atmosphere, then the saturation however does not necessarily lead to the precipitation. So in short, this is about the formation of the precipitation. Then there are some mechanisms which are necessary for the formation of the precipitation. In that, there are four mechanisms which are involved in the process of the precipitation. As first one is the lifting mechanism to cool the warm air. Then the formation of the cloud elements, that means there is the formation of the droplets or the ice crystals which is takes place due to the certain mechanism. Then third one, that is the growth of the cloud elements, and fourth one, that is the sufficient accumulation of the cloud elements. So these are the four mechanisms which are involved in the process of the precipitation. Then in that first mechanism, that is the lifting mechanism to cool the air. So this lifting mechanism gives the three main types of the precipitation. So it includes the cyclonic precipitation, then convective precipitation, and the orographic precipitation. These three types of the precipitation we discuss in detail one by one. As the first type of the precipitation, that is the cyclonic precipitation, or it is also categorized into the frontal or the non-frontal precipitation. So this frontal precipitation that result when the leading edge, that means the front of the warm air mass that meets the cool air mass, that means there is the combination of the hot air as well as the cool air which is takes place at a certain height into the atmosphere. Then this warm air mass that is forced up over the cool air, and there is the cooling of the warm air which is takes place due to the forcing up of this warm air above the cool air. Then at it rises, the warm air cools. When the warm air they are goes upward to the cool air, the cooling of this warm air which is also takes place. Then the moisture in the air that is also condenses, that means here is the when the warm air gets cooled into the atmosphere, and at that stage or at that height there is the condensation of the air which is takes place, and there is the formation of the cloud which is takes place, and finally it results into the precipitation. So that is known as the cyclonic precipitation. Here the warm air as well as the cool air they are combined together, and there is the cooling of the air takes place, and after the formation of the condensation the formation of the cloud is takes place, and finally it result into the precipitation. So in short, this is about the cyclonic precipitation, and that is shown in the figure. Then the next one, that is the convective precipitation. So this convectional precipitation that is results from the heating of the earth's surface that causes the air to rise rapidly. Then as the air rises, then its cooling which is takes place, and the moisture which is condenses into the clouds, and then the precipitation may occur. So this is the convectional precipitation. that is convectional precipitation, which is resulted from the heating of the earth surface and that causes the air that is rises rapidly. That means this heated air this goes upward and there is a cooling of that heated air which is takes place, and after that the moisture which is condenses, that means the process of the condensation start and the formation of the cloud which is resulted into the precipitation. So this is about the convection precipitation. Then next one, that is the orographic precipitation. So this orographic precipitation, it results when the warm moist air of the ocean is forced to rise by the large mountain. That means when the warm air that is move on the surface of the ocean and this warm air that is forced to rise due to the large mountain which are present, then as the air rises it cools and moisture in the air again condenses and clouds formation which is takes place, and finally it result into the precipitation on the windward side of the mountain, while the leeward side that receives the very little precipitation. And this orographic type of the precipitation which is observed common in the British Columbia. So this is about the orographic precipitation, and that is occur due to the large obstacles like the mountain. Then after that, the next point, that is the formation of the cloud element or the formation of the droplet or the ice crystals which are taking place into the atmosphere, and that is also considered as an important mechanism in the process of the precipitation. Then for the droplets, the hygroscopic nuclei, then small particles that having the affinity for the water, and they must be available in the upper troposphere. Then for the ice crystals, the freezing nuclei are required. Then after that, the source of condensation nuclei are the particles of the sea salt, then products of the sulfurous and the nitric acids. They are also present into the atmosphere as a aerosol. Then the source of the freezing nuclei are the clay minerals, then usually it contains the kaolin and the silver iodide. Then these are the various elements which are required, or the cloud elements which is required for the formation of the cloud or the ice crystals into the atmosphere. Then after that, the growth of the cloud elements. For occurrence of the precipitation over an area, it is necessary that the cloud elements must be grown in size to overcome. In that it includes the growth of the cloud element. It includes first, that is the coalescence of the cloud droplets. So these cloud droplets are usually smaller than the 50 micrometer in diameter. Due to the different diameter of the droplets, they fall with varying fall velocities. That means this cloud droplet which having the various diameter, and due to the various diameter they are fall with a varying fall velocities. That means their speed is also different. As the bigger cloud elements are heavier and which having the more fall velocity, that means if the clouds are big, then they also having the more fall velocity, hence they collide with smaller droplets, and the smaller droplet join the bigger droplet, and in this way the size of the cloud droplet increases. That means there are varying diameter of the ice crystals which are present into the atmosphere, and these small ice crystals, they are collide with each other, and there is the formation of the bigger droplet which is takes place, and in this way the size of the cloud droplet that is get increases. Then the growth of the cloud element, it also includes the coexistence of the cloud droplets and the ice crystals. If in a layer of the clouds there is a mixture of the water droplets and the ice crystals are present, as the saturation vapor pressure over the ice is lesser than over the water. As a result of this difference, there result evaporation of water drops and the condensation of much of this water on the ice crystals, which is also takes place. Then the causing their growth and the ultimate fall through the clouds, the ice crystal will further grow as they fall and collide with water drop. So this is the mechanism of the coexistence of the cloud droplets and the ice crystals, and this coalescence of the cloud droplets and the coexistence of the cloud droplets and the ice particles or the ice crystals, they are included under this growth of the cloud elements. Then next important topic, that is the growth of the droplets and the ice crystals. Then for the occurrence of the precipitation over an area, there are two important necessary conditions are there. As the first condition, that is the cloud element must increase in size until their falling speed exceeds the ascending rate of the air. So this is an very important conditions which is required for the occurrence of the precipitation, as the cloud element which having the large size as compared to the falling cloud element must be increasing size when their falling speed that increases as compared to the ascending rate of the air. So that is an important condition. And then after that, the second important condition, that is the cloud element should be large enough in size not to get evaporated completely before reaching the ground surface. That means whatever the cloud element which are present into the atmosphere and which having the large enough size, and due to that they doesn't get evaporated into the atmosphere before they reaching on the earth surface. So these are the two important conditions which are required for the occurrence of the precipitation over an area. Thank you. In this way we have completed this topic here.